listen. If you recall what we said we would start teaching and the way that we would teach self-defense and fighting, if you remember in that whole area of defense, we said one of the most important aspects of that is just the ability to create space. Space is my best friend. Again, you know, if we say 95% of all violent encounters are 100% avoidable, most of the time it's because of one of two things. Number one, I have the intuition or situational awareness to know to get out of there. The second one is that I don't get close enough in the beginning to even get hit, okay? So if my spider sense goes off and I'm in a situation where I can't just simply walk away, at a very minimum, I'm going to create what we refer to as a fence. Okay? Now, a couple of things are going on here. Number one, I am not in a fighting mode look. In other words, I'm not, you know, fist raised or something like that. But nonetheless, I am totally ready to fight. Number one, I'm out of range. What would out of range be? We use 2 arms lengths as a minimum. So if I'm here, I'm going to create this structure here with my hands up at face height, palms extended. The moment that I begin to feel uncomfortable with a situation, for whatever reason that might be, it may just simply be my intuition, then I'm going to create what we refer to as a fence. Here are the key points to a fence. Number one, I'm going to create a structure. The structure is hands extended out in front of my face. At a minimum, I need to get them at least up this high. There'll be situations and you're not going to feel comfortable doing this. I highly recommend that you say, I forget about what I feel like, this is what I should do, and that's what I'm going to do. This is not a very threatening position. This is a, hey, what's going on? I don't want any trouble type of posture, isn't it? I'm not in my fighting stance, or am I? There's not a lot of difference here, okay? Except this can help de-escalate the situation. The second thing I need to create is some space. At a minimum, I'm gonna say 2 arms lengths. In other words, if this guy makes an explosive movement towards me, I do not want to be caught unaware. We often play this little game where if I'm here and I say, look, I'm gonna touch you in the head, I want you to stop it. Look, and it's 99.99% of the time, they can't stop it. The person who goes first gets a free 1/4 of a second, about 0.25 of a second to get in there. And you can cover a lot of distance in 1/4 of a second. I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to be here. I might have to use my voice if he's being demeaning or threatening. I might have to say, hey, whoa, calm down, man. You need to back up. Okay? I want you to also notice that I'm going a little bit off to the side. What's the reason for that? I would like to get outside of his elbows. Bob has no elbows, but this is where his elbow would be. I'm going to step off to the side. This gives me an advantage in position. I can. It's a lot harder for him to hit me with his with the very common overhand right. It makes it a little more difficult, a little easier to stop. It also gives me a clear shot with my right hand. However, sometimes I may not be able to choose, but generally I just want to be outside the elbows. All right, so hey, whoa, okay. I never take pride into consideration. This male thing about staying into this pocket is absolute insanity. If this guy has a weapon and utilizes that weapon, I would be in a lot of trouble. However, just a couple of arms lengths away, my safety factor has gone up tremendously, okay? All right, now, we have to ask the question of what if he makes explosive movement? Well, again, what's my greatest friend? Space. I want to be ready to dash and explosively move backwards myself. We've already gone through that when we talk about movement. Drive off the opposite side of where you're going and move. And of course, work angles as well. However, if that is not an option and they're too fast, then I need to maintain the space at a minimum that I have, which is this, okay? So I'm going to use something that we refer to as an arm stop. Now, it looks like I'm getting in a position to kind of push into him, but what I'm doing is just simply creating a structure. Keep that word in mind. This is a structure, not an attack of any kind, all right? It's totally defensive. It has one purpose, and that is to maintain the space between here and here. Right now, he's not even this close. That's good. That's a good thing. I don't have any inclination that, oh, I'm supposed to be touching him. So even though we call this an arm stop, it's the structure that stops him if he tries to enter into my space. So if, of course, Bob's not going to make explosive movement, but if he did, and I went, whoa, 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 back up, man, and I created this structure, notice at no time did I go back in, like I'm going to push you away. This will be, it will feel very intuitive that you want to go, ugh, but that does nothing. What good did I accomplish by taking him from here to here? There is nothing. I don't really create space that way, not when I can create space this way, all right? So what this is it's simply my palms coming up in a structure connected skeletally to all of this. I'm in this kind of wedge position, almost as if the building were falling down, what position would I be in? Whoa! That's what I would be in, and that's what I'm doing. They're extended out in front of me. Now, when he drives in, I don't care if this pokes him in the eye. I don't care if this attacks his neck. These are things that I would quite possibly want to do, depending upon the situation. However, make sure that in training, I'm just going to use my palms against my partner's, I don't know, top quarter panel, okay? All this up here. But try not to get the fingers in the eyes unless it's an actual situation. So you do need to be thinking about this. All right, now it is possible that, again, he was just too fast. Oh my gosh, and he got past my hands. Maybe he lowered his level and shot in like a wrestler or grappler might do. So if that happens, my go-to after that point is to turn this in to a seat belt, going across his chest diagonally where the pinky side and this bone right here are right at between his shoulder and his neck, right in the collarbone area. This right here is a great structure, again, for what purpose? Just simply to maintain the distance here. If he has shown that he wants to grapple, he's going to be trying to do this, grabbing the legs. That's not going to happen if I have this structure. When the structure here is maintained mostly by the energy here that I have between the shoulder and the elbow. So I need to make sure that this is, let's say, an L. You see how this is an L going against here versus a V here. This right here, oh, he could drive in very easily on. This right here into his core there makes it very difficult. My other hand is just going to come up as a support. I could be grabbing a wrist. I could have a C grip on the bicep. Maybe I'm just posting against the shoulder. Again, I would prefer my angle be not to stay right here in front, but to be working around. So on the other side, listen man, I don't want any trouble. Whoa, arm stop, or whoa, seat belt. Okay, again, he lowers his level. That's not a problem for me to follow up on. So from this perspective here, okay, now preferably the side that I'm trying to get off angle to, I'm going to try to get the opposite leg to be back. Whoa. You may not be able to control that every time, but from structurally, see, I control his arm here. That arm over there is much more available to him as a weapon. So him reaching for my leg, I need to be able to keep that away. Again, it is a structure, and this structure, for the most part, defensively, moves one way, away. I don't need to be doing this and trying to drive into him. It's not going to work. If I need to attack him, I might do some other things to grab on here for knees and things like that look like the seatbelt, but the seatbelt or the arm stop are structures to maintain this space, okay? So, from your perspective here, I'm the attacker, all right? When you see me come after you, you're just going to get into that structure stance. Whoa, here, and continue to move back tactically. You're going to be here, move back at angles. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Man, I'm gonna bust you up. I don't care. I'm not. Good. Okay, so hopefully your hands were posted over here. I'm trying to. Now, this guy may come in head first. I don't know. When we train this, the attacker needs to get their head out of the way to make sure that they don't get poked in the eye. So I will do the same thing. Ready? Here we go. I'm gonna bust you up, man. Boom. Good. Across the chest or palms against that core up here. Whoa. You can just switch on and off. Arm stop, seatbelt. What's the difference between the two? It's just what I could get. I prefer to have more space, obviously, but if he gets past that, maybe he lowers his level and man, I just couldn't, my hands slipped, then I need this big backup with a larger margin of success here. All right, so again, boom. Good. Let's switch it up, and now think of this side as the side that you're doing the arm stop against. I will bust you up, dude. I saw you look at my girlfriend. I saw you look at my dog. You're thinking of stealing my dog, aren't you? This side. Now, I guarantee you, when you do this live, you're gonna feel the desire to push off, and it will extend your nose over your toes. That's a bad position. So just remember, you don't care if when they make that explosive movement, you don't care if you ever touch them at all. If I maintain my distance, that is a win for me. So this is arm stop and seatbelt.